Hey, Mr. Garage here, and in this video, we're going to cover the plastics restoration on that Yamaha Warrior. I'm not an expert in that by any means. I've watched some video tutorials. We kind of figured it out as we went and just kind of used what I thought would work, and it worked out really, really well. We're really happy with that. And my eyes are all completely baked, bloodshot red. Sorry, I've been out in the sun sweating a mess all day, so it's been a long day already. But back to the Warrior. So what we did, the process that we used is we used red Scotch Brite and a little bit of Dawn and water to get the initial layer of oxidation off. And it was really, really, really thick. It was like pasty thick. We scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, got the initial layer off. And then we went to a 600, a 1,000, a 1,500, and a 2,000 grit sandpaper. We went in stages, wet sanding. And we got it looking pretty decent. After that, I used a heat gun, and we were able to cook the surface of the plastics, kind of bring out some of the oil in the plastics with the heat gun, and it gave it a little bit of an orange peel look, but it's in pretty good shape at that point. The last thing we did is I got this Mother's compound. It's a plastic polishing compound they have. It's more for headlights. I decided to give that a try. I put that on my DA and buffed the crud out of the plastics with that compound. So, I mean, I really got in there and it came out amazing. It doesn't even look like the same quad. It's far from perfect. This thing has a lot of deeper scratches on it, but it looks good enough that when we put a decal set on it, it's going to look like a really nice machine. The plastics are going to look like, not new, but they're going to look as good as sun-baked old plastics will ever look again. So really happy with the results, and let's check out the videos.
So my wife's pressure washing the plastics, and it's actually cutting through some of the oxidation. She has to go really slow, but that's kind of an awesome pre-step to getting these plastics back to looking, pretty decent. And then we'll throw a decal kit on it, and man, we're gonna send it, because this thing is gonna look so much better. And I just can't believe how well the pressure washer is working. I mean, it's still chalky and sandpaper feeling, but it's taken off a lot of that initial layer of oxidation just pressure washing. So that's a good first step. All right, so to get the initial oxidation off, we're actually using a red Scotch Brite. And this is kind of, as my wife pressure washes, my son and I are going through and we're just scrubbing all the surfaces while the plastics are still mounted. And I mean, you can see the melt coming off and the oxidation just coming off. And this is the initial step, to kind of the aggressive step to getting all this oxidation off these plastics. So we're just gonna keep doing it. I mean, the pressure washing alone is doing quite a bit, but we're gonna keep on working this until we can cut through the oxidation. Just like if you're sanding something, like I've been working this area for a little bit, you hear how quiet that is? Now you get over in the oxidized areas and you can hear it just like you were sanding. So we gotta get all that surface oxidation off. We are scrubbing and scrubbing, but it is slowly, we're getting this oxidation off. I mean, this stuff is so thick, but it's starting to smooth out. Red Scotch Brite was definitely a good choice to get the initial off and kind of cut through it. You can feel it getting smoother and smoother, and we're starting to bring out just a little bit of better color underneath. So yeah, we're just going to keep on working this. All right, so we have sanded all the way to a 2,000 grit. We got most all the oxidation off, and I'm starting to use a heat gun. And if you can see it here, starting to kind of heat polish out all the little fine scratches and stuff. And then we'll end up doing a polish on the plastic and buffing the heck out of it. But yeah, we're starting to see a shine. You can actually see a heat gun in there. So that's what we're after, to get all these little scratches out.
Okay, we're back. It was a late night last night. We are exhausted. You can already see the reflection, even though it's kind of an orange peeled reflection, in the plastics. I mean, we really busted our butts on this yesterday. After how promising it was seeing the power washer results on it, and it was taking off some of the oxidation, we just kind of went full ham into it. I mean, we started out with red Scotch Brite, then we went to a 600 grit and wet sanding it with a little bit of Dawn in the water, and then we went to 1,000, then we went to a 1,500, then we went to a 2,000. And once we got to 2,000, the scratches were small enough we were able to heat gun it and pull all the micro scratches out. And once that started looking good and all those little tiny micro scratches were disappearing, then we went to a DA and we started buffing with the DA, and we were using Mother's
power plastic compound, which is more made for headlights on cars. But I said, you know what, let's give this a shot, see what it does, and it really worked well. I mean, you can see the results. I mean, these plastics were ready for the scrap yard before, and here they are, bringing out the color, looking good, and they're smooth to the touch, even though they're a little orange peeled. Let me get around here. They're a little bit orange peeled on the surfaces from the heat gun mainly, and the levels of oxidation, because this stuff, it eats in at different levels and layers, so it kind of leaves an orange peeled surface. And almost no amount of sanding I was willing to do would do that. But yeah, I mean, we got our shine back. Things are looking, you know, really nice. You can kind of see the reflection in the fenders, but I am totally happy with that. And just a little bit of leftover cleaner. Yeah, super excited. And the cleaning itself, all the work we did, degreasing this thing, you can see it all the way down. I mean, we got something to work with now. This thing looks great. We're gonna start, you know, getting in parts and getting the chain off and doing all these other little things. But yeah, we're gonna get this all finished up and looking good. Did notice these side covers, that's actually composite. And when we pressure washed it, all the paint came off of it. And same thing with the chain guard. Those are just a composite, looks like a fiber infused plastic. And there's no paint left on them, so they look pretty crappy, but we'll get those primed and painted and looking good. But yeah, that's where we left off. I mean, that was a lot of work getting this back, you know, looking decent. And like I said, really happy with the results. The whole family busted their butt. You know, once we saw how promising it was on the pressure washer, we just dug in. So yeah, if you like my totally random videos and projects, subscribe. And we're going to keep on trucking on this Project Warrior. And stay tuned. We'll have another episode here soon of what we're going to be doing next.